so now we've got to the part where we have to look at important signs and symptoms, and when do I need to inform my clinical team? So we'll look, if you've all got your books in front of you, if we turn to page 11 of the handbook, okay, and what we're going to do, we're going to put a white screen up, and then you're going to let me know what you think of the signs and symptoms, and then we'll put them up for you to see, and we'll discuss each one. Okay then, guys, can you all see the whiteboard in front of you on your screens?
We can, thank you.
Yeah.
Lovely. So if you could all together then write some signs or symptoms you think that you would need to let your team know or could be of a concern to you. You think what we might be needing to know about. This is to make you aware, because obviously you are looking after yourself and you're notifying us when there's a problem. Okay, so we've got new aches and pains, blood either in pee or stools. Is there any more? Having to go to the toilet more during the night. Yeah. This is really good. Anything unusual? Okay, so should we look at what we've got there, and meanwhile, if anybody thinks of anything else, just write them up. So new aches and pains. So what do you think that means? What do you mean by new aches and pains? Because obviously we can get new aches and pains if we've started some new exercise, like you suggested you'd like to do, Tristan, and you, Mike, if you're walking a little bit more, you may very well get some new aches and pains because you're using muscles that you've not used before. So it's knowing when, isn't it? So those aches and pains may be related to because you're doing more exercise. So what do you mean by new aches and pains?
What I was thinking of was anything persistent, anything that sort of is there, perhaps it doesn't go away. There's no respite from it. It's continual.
Excellent. So what you're thinking, and stop me and correct me if I'm wrong, are you thinking that this is a new ache and pain that's consistent and lasting more than a certain amount of time? So you've had it, you've taken some paracetamol, you've rested, and you've still got the pain, maybe 6 weeks later?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, maybe even less time. I don't, depending on the severity of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, persistent more than sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a very good one, because that, as we know, prostate cancer can go to the bones, and so that is something we would need to know. But it is more of a persistent pain that's been there for longer period of time after you've tried to solve it, so 6 weeks or more. But as we've always said, we are there at any time. So if you were concerned about any aches or pains, you could email us or ring us, and we could either put your mind at rest or organise for you to have some further tests. So yes, that is one that you would need to tell us about. So somebody's put anything unusual. What do you mean by anything unusual?
Yeah, again, Faye, that was me. I mean, anything.
Lovely, Tristram.
Again, anything you might have a concern about, instead of brushing it under the carpet, a short email or call to the team, can possibly alleviate it or rule something out. So I would say anything you're concerned about or not quite right about, just flag it, raise your hand or email, whatever, and it can sort of save a lot of anguish.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So what you're kind of saying, because you are out there, you're not coming into regular appointments at the hospital. If there was anything unusual you were unsure of, you would like to be able to ask the clinical team if it's a concern.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay, and we can talk a bit more about that in a minute if we need to. Having to go to the toilet more during the night.
Yes.
Somebody like to elaborate on that one, John?
Yes, that was my sort of first start of my symptoms. I never was the one to have to get up overnight to go to the toilet. but that started to change, and I was getting up once, twice, then it was getting 3 times a night. And also sometimes when I used to go to the toilet, I'd have, was thinking I wanted to go and I couldn't. And it was, especially if you went into a men's toilet, sometimes a bit embarrassing when you're going into a toilet and standing there for quite a while and unable to go. And in your head, you really did want to go. And that was what alerted me to me to be checked out.
Absolutely. That is one that we would need to know about. And it depends again what treatment you've had. But those of you that's had surgery, sometimes the surgery and how it works can narrow some of the tubes, and so can cause you to go more to the toilet during the night, or can cause what we call lower urinary tract symptoms. So it's about, and I can see actually somebody's put there flow of urine change. So they all kind of go together. So there's any changes with your urinary tract systems that might be getting up more than of a night. It might be going more during the day. It might be that you feel that you've not emptied your bladder completely, or that you can go and you want to go and you're not going, because it could simply just be an infection. So absolutely, any changes with your waterworks would be something that we would need to know. And again, we can easily put your mind at rest and say it's nothing to worry about, or it might be that we need to do further investigations. But absolutely, that is it. That is a good one. And I can see somebody, so thank you, John. I can see somebody's put blood either in pee or stools. Who was that? Are they going to let me know?
Oh, yeah, apologies. It's Daniel here.
Hiya, Dan.
It's something that's probably sort of out of the ordinary, really, not dissimilar to something that you've already discussed. But, for example, if you've been out cycling or were playing some form of active sport, then it may be as a result of that. So this would be where you can't put your finger, for want of a better phrase, on why you may have some blood in your urine, or indeed when you've gone for the number 2, as it were. It's better to be safe than sorry, and then clearly just sort of seek that advice, because it could be something or nothing, but it'd be better to find out.
Absolutely, Dan. And again, as with some of the other things that we've talked about, blood in your poo, in your stools, could be due to treatment. Sometimes if you've had radiotherapy treatment, it can be long-term side effects of that, and it can be side effects of that treatment. So again, absolutely, if you let us know, then we can do something about it. Blood in the urine, blood in the pee, again, that's something we need to know about. It could just be a simple thing like an infection, you need some antibiotics, but it might be something that we need to investigate further. So if there's blood in your urine or blood in your stools, that is one that I think, just to put your mind at rest, you would need to contact us about, and then we can have a little chat and take it further. Okay, so excellent. Erectile dysfunction, somebody's put?
Yes, that was me, Michael.
Okay.
What I found was it was very useful on the True North system to be able to type in personal messages to the support staff, and we're able to have a conversation about it, and also the support that's in place for such a personal discussion.
Absolutely.
And I found that very useful.
Good. And you're absolutely right, Mike. Erectile dysfunction, as we know, is a side effect of prostate cancer treatment. Sometimes after a length of treatment that you've been put on, it can come back, but sometimes, unfortunately, is there for quite a while. And I think that one then goes on to the emotional stress, because sometimes those two things go together, and that is, we just need to talk about it, because sometimes for erectile dysfunction we can do something about it, sometimes we can't, but talking about it and telling us about how you're feeling and what is going on is really important. And we can always try and help you. So was that linked in, Mike, with the emotional stress you've put? Was that linked in with the erectile dysfunction, or was that something else you'd like to share?
Yep, part of it as well. And to be told that you have cancer at the beginning is is a traumatic experience.
Absolutely.
And to be able to talk about it, as you say, whether over the phone, whether through the system of True North, and not having to make any appointments, it was a very smooth flow of being able to get what I wanted from the support staff, and I found that useful.
Yeah, that's...
so it's a trauma of the whole experience of knowing that, oh, you have cancer. How is the treatment going? What are the side effects? I was able to talk quite nicely to everybody.
And I think that's an important part to just clarify here, that even though you are, as we call, are part of a remote system, you're out there, you know, we are here remotely to speak to you or to email you whenever you have any concerns. And I think sometimes that can help, because sometimes it's easier to actually email how you're feeling, especially with something as difficult as to discuss as erectile dysfunction, that it's easier to just write an email and for somebody to email you back and get that conversation going, get talking about these things that are personal, but you know, are emotionally challenging. So that's a really good point to think, to understand that even though you're remote monitored, you're not being remotely monitored with us. You can contact us at any time. Okay, so just to go through some things that you haven't put up on there. So unplanned weight loss. That's another one that we would like to know. It's, you know, it's different if your wife's put you on a diet and you don't know about it, and then you're suddenly losing some pounds. But if you're losing pounds and you don't know the reason why, then that would be another reason to let us know. Okay? That's really good answers. Well done.